England's King, Edward III, looked jealously across the English Channel. Wanting France for his own, he had added the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of France, to his own royal standard. This was an all-out declaration of war. And in 1337, he invaded. But France already had a king, Philippe VI. As the English burned their way across the land, Philippe's army and his legendary knights marched to meet them, and came face to face with the English longbow. A simple weapon, but the most devastating the knights had ever faced. The heroes of France fell to storms of English arrows. The war engulfed the French countryside. By 1351, the conflict was focused on Brittany. One fight stands out as a spectacular display of chivalry, and a symbol of the wider conflict between the two enemy nations. The Combat of the 30 is still commemorated here in Brittany. It was a dispute between two local families. Supported by the opposing sides in the war, the French and English commanders decided to settle it through a trial of knightly combat. Each side would choose 30 champions to fight on neutral ground. France prepared to defend itself against England's finest. Intent on ending the suffering of the French peasantry, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir sent a challenge to the English commander. 30 champions on each side would compete in a tournament for final claim to Brittany. With the battleground of the halfway oak agreed upon, Sir Jean set out to gather support from local knights. As a knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Honor est d'obéir hors votre service. Incontinent.
Bien savez quoque.
Avant, compagnon. Quand je commande, avant. Vaincus et basses. Quand je commande, avant.
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, but the Combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people. Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
L'heure est de besoigneux.
Compagnon, reste par agir.
À la sonne, chevalier! vostre service.
The French knights defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
Je suis vostre serveux. Retrayez vos amours. Avertissez votre courage, compagnon. Quand je commande, avant.
Sir Jean's search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy de Bois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen.
Attendez les commandements.
The knights would use the great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them. The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks.
Si comme vos voldrez. Incontinent.
En la bouée, Noxus en la bouée, un pied ici, un pied là.
With Sir Geoffroy by his side, Sir Jean had secured the outpost.
Si comme vos voldrez. Pour votre service. Pour votre service.
Looking to secure his honor, a young knight held his ground on a bridge in Sir Jean's path. Honorably conceding defeat in the duel, Sir Yves Charel joined the cause.
Un pied ici, un pied là. Brest pour une sanglante hâtive. Aveillez votre. Veci commandez. Vils vos donc, en la bouée. Reniez vos armès. Vectons nos en la bouée. Un pied ici, un pied là. Comme vos blesses.
Sir Jean entered the staging area for the tournament, where he prepared to choose which knights would join him in battle.
Incontinent.
Each knight would be accompanied by his squires, young nobles in training to become knights themselves.
Honor, mon arway, mègne avec moi.
Sir Jean had selected his champions. As the sun rose, the two sides entered the arena, ready for the first round of combat. Claiming an easy victory in the first round, the French champions left the arena to recover their strength.
Page, veci commandement. Si fes vos commandements, reniez vos armes. Bien savez quoque, vectos nos en la voie.
Refreshed and reinvigorated, the French knights returned to the arena for another round of combat. The combat of the 30 was about to decide which nation would control the Duchy of Brittany. Triumphant, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir and his loyal knights claimed victory. The combat of the 30 had decided control of Brittany in favor of the French. Little did the two sides know, this was just the beginning of a bitter war that would outlive them all. After victory at the combat of the 30, the French faced devastating raids from England's Black Prince. But France's King John II was closing in. Jean finally caught the English near the city of Poitiers in September 1356. The French army outnumbered the English by thousands. King Jean himself joined the fight, but what seemed a certain victory for France soon turned into a nightmare. The English longbow devastated the mighty French army. An endless hail of arrows gutted the main French force. Then the English captured King Jean. The fight was over. The Battle of Poitiers was another catastrophic defeat for the French. The English had destroyed most of France's nobility in a single day. Now they turned their attention towards taking the French capital, Paris. The invaders marched unopposed towards Paris. The remains of some of the medieval walls of Paris still stand today. As the English army approached, the terrified locals sought shelter behind these defenses. Could France's capital withstand the full might of the Black Prince's army? The English Black Prince had raided the French countryside without mercy, and now his army had come for the capital. With the English on their doorstep, it fell to the French army and the people of Paris to defend the walls of their proud city. Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post. As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Que fort bien, comme volets. Bien, bien, Vaïs.
Bayez-moi besoin. À votre commandement.
Reste pour la besogne, manance. Lors batige s'essuie. Oil, mestier des mouets.
Que faut-il donc besoin pour vous servir? Oyez, les hommes marchiers arrière, moi et Trestos.
Manance, ouvrons de Manance. And Kemin. Mestirest en Jambert. Que Bali Bastille.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
Moi besoin. Je veux s'amène Mériens.
Oh, me faut trahir. Avec hier, Mériens.
Oh, me faut trahir. Comment ça peut être bestiaire de bois? Oui, marche arrière moi, Trestos. À votre commandement. Tous de ya, Laurens.
Oyez, si, les exploiteurs. Lors de von Snors à l'air. Tous y a Laurens.
Besoin à faire.
Advertence, tout le monde. Giovanni Bastir.
Les guerres puissantes, Manance. Manance, nos devant salaire. Lorsque bâti, je s'escuit. Sievage outjumps.
Having struck out at the English front line, the French had slowed the enemy's advance.
Besoin à faire. Si, comme volets. Pouvons savoir, Mr. Fouet.
Advertance, osement. Lors devant nos salaires. Giovanni bat besoin à faire. Toast ya Laurets.
Audelet game, compagnie. Jens Dams, nos des guerres puissantes.
Bonne besoin et je fête.
Ici Novels commandement.
Oil, vestir de moi. En besoin bien, Weiss. Pouillère reste ma toute vie. Besoin.
De l'Est pareil. Autre Versailles.
Manance, en France donc. Veille à l'ami.
Compagnon, j'obtiens à votre fils. J'ai besoin. J'ai besoin de cette laisse d'avion au point.
As the French continued to rally their army, the English took the last of the surrounding villages and had almost encircled Paris.
Est-ce votre plaisir?
La lance presse. Quoi faut-il faire?
Oh, me fautra. Que faut-il donc besoin?
Est-ce votre plaisir?
With the countryside in flames and the English at the city gates, the French armies steeled themselves for battle. Now came the capital's true test. Would the mighty walls of Paris hold against a fearsome English siege? The Parisian Guard raised the alarm as the English began their first assault on the city walls. French army fought valiantly, repelling the first English attack.
Avertisez votre courage, compagnons! Incontinent! Pour votre service! Bande, je commande! Avant! Retrayez vos amoués. Incontinent. Soyez bande, je commande! Avant!
Attendez les commandements, manants. Los batiges s'essuient. Rejoignez nos attentes, manants. Giovanni Bastille.
Avec ton dos sans la bouée. Axwand, je commande. Avant. Bien, savez. Pour votre service. Je suis votre serveur.
Que faut-il donc besoin? Reste pour la besogne, manants. Oil, vestir des mouets.
L'entière, en place.
Dicte-moi mon bersaille. Manants, si vais exploitier. Vécure mes riens.
Autre bersaille.
Allons, manants.
L'heure avertisez votre courage, compagnon.
Manuel assouvi. Et là, eux.
Compagnon, fais ici les chessmets avant, au belestier, au belestier.
Lion
Oui,
de siège
à
assis.
Barmaid.
Or actondon s'ordonnant. Lion movons nous. Mangonet. Oye.
A chessmets vont si comme vos voldrez.
Aime besoin. Lors batiges s'essuient.
Compagnon. Mettons son fouet. À Barmaid.
Longtemps pas de shield demeurèrent.
Les Mangonels actant vos ordonnances.
Preste portrait.
Soyez prêts.
Pour vos services,
Dicte-moi mon bersaille.
m'avouez. Seront curés.
Dicte
Quoi faut-il faire?
Dicte votre plaisir.
Preste portrait.
On baisse les curés.
Rossoy, donc. À ta brûle. Prête Reste tous, allons. Voisez, compagnons. Voisez.
Attendez, laisse commandement. Avant.
Dites-moi mon message.
Blanchi. Blanchi, commandement.
Lion Jean de
Ennemi parti. Arbalètre. La jet se met pas.
Lion Jean, parfait. Oh, si sera fait.
Je suis votre serveur.
Engin de siècle. Engin de siècle.
Compagnon, hauteur. Je suis votre serveur.
L'ennemi va marcher.
C'est comme votre ordre. À l'assaut, chevalier.
Oi, mestière de moi. Besoigne nos attentes, maintenant. Pouvons savoir, mestière de Bois.
Il ne faut que l'ennemi. Chevalier avant. Compagnon. Inconcliné. Ennemi de Darcy. À quel moment? Si fait votre commandement. Je suis votre serveur.
Reste tout est assis.
Votre yet pose à moi.
Les engins de siège assis.
Although the walls of Paris had been breached, the French could still hold the city, so long as its mighty landmarks did not fall. The French defense of their capital held firm, wearing down the English invaders one by one.
Faites seconde votre commandement.
Quoi faut-il faire? Oil, je veille de ces... Puissant premier. Chevalier Bastien.
Oyez les commandements.
Oyez bien. À Jet Resmos. Commande avant.
Qui maintenant? Espagay assis. Assayette isolte.
Descendez, je commande.
Compagnons, voisez.
Oyez les ordonnances. Marchiez derrière moi, très tous.
Ben ici, l'escalons. À part
Oyez bien, compagnon.
Dicte-moi ma besoin.
Attentis. Régimendement.
Comme pédac, compagnon. En attaque. Bord va se servir.
Stéphane, compagnon.
Sois ici comme Vos Voldrez.
Mon arc est prêt.
Oh, jetzt, tout le monde.
Oui, là.
Tous ya Lauretz. Dites-moi mon Versailles.
Nos savants commandement. Elle l'a joué, non,
L'heure est continent.
Reste porteur.
Oh, jetzt bien, compagnon.
Dites-moi mon Versailles. Sur cette terre. Actif, comme le relais. Imangonel attend vos ordonnances.
The enemy grew ever more desperate as their ranks thinned and their hopes of victory faded.
Oyez, tout le monde. Pour vos servir. Allons, Satrestus. Allons, Satrestus.
Ah, je suis votre serveuse.
Reste tout estasis.
Oh, jetzt bien, compagnon.
Dans la Saint-Gertis.
Archer de demeurer, Wenslat to coin. Archer par main.
Specs.
Ainsi soit-il.
Beige. Beige commandement. Un pied de chi, un pied.
Obelest. Avant. Obelestière. Avant. Allons.
Aldertan se demande.
Lors de votre salaire. Lors batige s'estui.
Obelestier, s'y veille.
Or, attendons ordonnance.
Access Metzvos, compagnon. Au votre service.
Access Metzvos.
Avant, compagnon.
Ben ici, comme il vous plaît. Inquiet.
Archer, prenez vos armes.
À l'assaut, chevalier.
Besoin n'y a fait.
Oyez, les ordonnances.
Il sera fait.
Attends, Gertis. Au votre service. Porte les avoués. C'est comme Vos Voldrez.
C'est glorieux ce
C'est
soir.
comme Vos Voldrez. Access avertisets votre courage.
Die Ongeans de Sieuchassis. Die Ongeans es mu.
Obelest, un des Spartans. Vraiment. Access Metzvos.
La bataille, compagnon.
Entière en place.
Reprenons la bataille.
Je suis votre serveur.
Si belles exploitiers.
Pour de forme, suis envoyé.
jetzt vos avoués.
Envelesté! Appointez de base! Envelestre! Accepte maintenant!
Avertissez votre courage, compagnon!
Regime on demande.
Votre jetzt vos avoués.
Defeated and demoralized by the strength of the French defense, the Black Prince's army abandoned their siege of the capital. Paris celebrated victory, but this was not the last test the French would face in their struggle to win the war. The walls of Paris held out against the English onslaught. England's King Edward and the Black Prince abandoned the siege. They marched towards Chartres to try their luck at conquering a less formidable target. But before they could attack, a violent storm hit the army. Killing 1,000 English soldiers in a tempest of hail and freezing winds. To Edward, this Black Monday disaster seemed like divine retribution. A sign that it was time to stop waging war and make peace with France's King Jean. But even as peace between kings was reached, the people of France were still living in bloodshed and turmoil. Between 1358 and 1370, France was in chaos. Peasant uprisings, rampaging bands of mercenaries, and civil war ravaged the country. Peasants rose in rebellion, killing their lords and wreaking havoc. Mercenary bands also roamed the land. Known as routiers, they had once been hired by the English to fight against the French, but were cut loose when peace was reached. They systematically ravaged and pillaged towns across France. And with King Jean prisoner in England, his son Charles the Dauphin faced homegrown attacks on his rule by powerful French lords, beset from all sides. The Dauphin's forces had to regain control over their own country. Having only recently been crowned King of France, Charles V dispatched his army to the French-held village of Évreux to forge order from chaos. From here, the army would move to extinguish three major threats. Bands of roving mercenaries harrying the countryside, a peasant uprising, and attacks from a rival for the French crown, Charles of Navarre.
Resti.
Colonnes sont ici. Quetabo,
The French army would start by reclaiming the rebel-held villages of Cocherel, Jouy, and Croissy.